Okay, fine. So now we will continue with the Gauss law in the applications part. Why I'm not visible? Okay, fine. So today's class in the chapter electrostatics, we are going to discuss the Gauss law and its application. So we are going to begin with the very basic of the Gauss law here. So what all I'm going to discuss the Gauss law. The application of this is what the next chapter, what you can see the capacitor. So today, what all in this week you are going to learn, no? The conclusion of this is what we are going to use in the capacitor chapter. And if you learn the capacitor chapter, it'll be very easy for you again in the current density RC circuits. All these are interrelated. So we are going to introduce the first time in the electrostatics, the conductors. If a conductor is brought into a charged system, how the behavior will be. That is what we are going to analyze in this particular with the help of the Gauss law. Okay, let me begin like this. And so already I think we had a discussion in the, if you can remember in the gravitation chapter, we had a nice discussion on the Gauss law. So let me start with this. So the flux is equal to integral of E bar dot ds bar equal to Q in by epsilon naught. Okay, this is about, so what is this quantity? So all one by one will list out. So this is called like a electric flux. This is the electrostatic field. What is ds? Elemental surface. Q in is net charge enclosed by a Gaussian surface. Okay, these are all the various quantities which we have defined here, that one. Now, first we'll talk about the electric flux. What is the necessity of electric flux? Why we have to, why I'm introducing especially that electric flux here? What is the necessity of that? So let's do one thing. Let's take a point charge. And the lines of force I can assume any number of lines of force as we know earlier. Okay, these are the lines of force due to a positive point charge. Okay, fine. Okay, now what we do is like, some student will assume how many, some say like a, how much I assumed here, 3, 3, 12, 12, 16 lines of force. Another student will assume 20, another student will assume 100. Like that, there is no some sort of like a uniformity, no? In number of lines of force, there's nothing called like any uniformity. So to bring that uniformity is what happened. We are bringing the flux idea. So what I do is like let me bring a surface here. I'll keep a surface. Let me draw a surface. Okay, I'll keep a surface here. So some any arbitrary shape. and the same surface, I'll move it here. So what is this? This is the surface. Okay, what about the lines of force here? There are two lines of force are passing. What about how many lines of force here? Here, how many lines of force? Only one lines of force. So now, I'm going to express that the electric field to area will become flux. So now I'll come out of the idea of lines of force. If another student for same positive point charge, he may assume 100 lines of force, then he may get a different idea. So to overcome that number of lines of force, I'm bringing a concept of electric field strength. What is electric field strength? For a point charge plus Q, either you assume 100 lines of force or 10 lines of force. What is the electric field at a distance R? Will remain same. So lines of force are imaginary one. So to make that uniformity in the number of lines of force, so we are bringing the concept of the electric flux here. Now I'll calculate the field strength E bar, whether you assume 100 lines of force or 10 lines of force. What is the field strength here? Will be same. So how much field strength at the location of the first surface? It will be roughly the direction. Let me take some other color. Yeah. So how much E bar? Somewhere in this direction. So what is the value of E bar here? E2. What is the value of here? E bar is E1. What is the surface area? Let it be S. Then can you say anything about the electric field strength? Electric field strength at 2, at 1, it will be greater than 2. And look at the number of lines of force. More number of lines of force are passing at through the surface at 1 than at 2. Then instead of saying number of lines of force, I just say that flux at 1 is more than flux at 2. For that, what happen? E1, E2 is a uniform, because what is the formula for E1? E1, what happen? We'll be using formula KQ by R1 square. What about T2? KQ2 by R2 square. R1 less than R2. So therefore E1 greater than E2. So there's no problem with the electric field strength, because we know from the Coulomb's law what is electric field due to point charge. Okay, now I'll define, rather than say like how many lines of force, I just say what is electric flux here. What is electric flux? E1 into S. What about electric flux here? E2 into S, that one. Like this, we define it. Now, again, the where electric field strength is more at this point. So now we'll define the flux. Flux at 1 equal to E1 bar dot S bar. Flux at 2 equal to the same surface, no? E2 bar dot S bar. S is the area vector. S bar is an area vector. Now, so what we can say now, definitely from this, flux at 1 more than 2. And we know number of lines of force. To surface at 1 is in fact greater than number of lines of force of the surface at 2. Tell me like which one? I think this is the more best method, no? To express the number of lines of force. So what is the flux? Flux will give us the information regarding number of lines of force. I say flux at 1 is more, means more lines of force are passing through. How many lines? It will not tell. The electric flux will just give information of number of lines of force, proportional to number of lines of force, not how many lines of force. Are you getting the idea now? Since earlier, what happened, we didn't add a flux, now we were concentrating more on lines of force. Now, year of torts will discuss everything about electric flux. And electric flux doesn't bother about like how many lines of force you are going to assume. It just depends upon E bar and S. So the idea of that lines of force, we are idea of how many lines of force I should assume is what we are coming out of that method. We need not to bother about that one. We need not to bother about the how many lines of force I should draw it. To make that uniform thinking, we have a idea of this electric flux here. Getting the idea, no? So these are the things what happen, which because there's no any uniform in number of lines of force. To make that uniform thinking in lines of force, the idea of flux is brought here. So what is electric flux? Electric flux, what can be unit for this? What is the unit for electric field? Volt per meter. So volt meter, we can write it. What is the electric field? Electric field will be volt per meter, and there's a meter square. So unit will become volt per meter. Okay, let's go for further one. So what is the electric flux? So we'll just focus on that one. Let me take in elemental surface. Also, let me take a strip, length L, B bar. Volt meter is there, no, per meter. And I'll do one thing. Yeah. There's a uniform field is there. So this one. So now again. So I considered a now 4 situations. So where this will make an angle, selected be theta. So I'll call alpha. What is the flux in the first case? What is S bar? We should define S bar. S bar is an area vector where it is, I'm going to define it as S bar is equal to area into n cap. What is the area of cross section of this strip? L into B. What is n cap? Unit vector directed normal to the area vector. So since it's an open surface, so I'm going to choose one particular direction. Let it be upward, n cap that is. Then what is the angle between E bar and n cap? It is 0. So let me take the dot product. So the flux is equal to, I need some space here. Yeah, we'll conclude here only. So the flux is equal to E bar dot S bar. So what is E? S cos 0 degrees, angle between them, E into LB. So I say flux is positive. What does it mean? The lines of force, the electric field vector is in the direction of n cap. That's the meaning of that one. Okay, let's come for this one. What is the angle between E bar and n cap? 180 degrees. So in the second case, what is the flux will be? ES cos of 180 degree minus ES, or will be minus ELB. Now, what do you mean by flux negative? The electric field vector there will be directed opposite to the n cap. The electric field vector will be directed opposite to n cap. So there's the interpretation of the flux negative. Second case, so what is the angle between n cap and E? It is alpha. ES cos alpha. So ELB cos alpha. Now, second case, fourth case, ES cos 90 degrees. So this will be 0. What do you mean by flux 0? Means the lines of force are not passing through the surface. And now this, which flux will be more, phi 1 or phi 2? Definitely say phi 1. Because here E bar is at an angle. So definitely the amount of number of lines of force passing through that will decrease here. So flux will be decreasing, what we say. Like this for an open surface. So now you can ask questions. Why can't n cap be downward? As if you define n cap downward for all 4 situations, you have to make n cap downward. For open surface, you can assume n cap upward or downward. Here, let me assume it n cap upward here. Okay, agree this. So like this, what happened? We introduced an idea of electric flux. Now, when you can directly multiply the field strength into area, if field is uniform, if at all points on a surface, if electric field strength is constant, then what we do, directly we'll multiply the electric field into area. If the field strength is different at different points, we'll take one more example. Just see once. Let's take the next examples. Here the electric field vector E bar is equal to E naught x square. My K cap it is. So let this side length be L and this is BB. I want the flux through this region, which is bounded by the coordinates, or this will be your surface here. Look at the electric field. Is it a constant? No, it's a variable. At different points, it'll be different, no? And how it will be directed along that axis. So there is a surface which is lying in XY plane. So we have to calculate the flux through this given surface. Find the electric flux through a rectangular surface lying in an XY plane. What is n cap? We'll assume n cap along z axis. What is the method here? So if you have a situation of like this, so what you do, you assume an elemental strip. Then the width of this strip, let it be dx. Flux linking this small element, let it be d phi. So we'll proceed like this. D phi is equal to E into dA. What is dA? Will become B into dx. What is E? E naught x square B dx. So this will become E naught B x square dx. There's a flux linking the elemental strip, rectangular strip. Then I'll integrate. Now the flux, what's the limit? The total flux 0 to phi, 0 to L. So this will become E naught B x cubed by 3, 0 to L. The total flux will be. Okay, what is the basic idea? If the flux linking a surface, if it is variable, we are going to assume an elemental strip. Then we are going to, first we'll calculate the flux linking that elemental strip. elemental surface, then we'll integrate, we'll get the total flux linking the surface. Now, what is d5 you should call? Any interpretation? Flux linking. I think still okay. We in electrostatics we do come across a variable field and a constant uniform field. Uniform field, no problem. If a variable field comes, there's a method we have to apply it. I'll scroll down. Not possible. Huh? I'll draw it better. Now there's a one very good question. Okay, this is a surface. Let it be a square one. We're making an angle 30 degrees. And I do have a vector E bar is equal to 2i cap plus 3j cap. What is the surface? OA BC. Side length is how much? L is equal to, let it be 2 meters. I think it'll be just it is making the plane is making an angle 30 degree with XZ plane. A square plane is making an angle 30 degree with XZ plane. So, and there is a uniform electric field there. We have to calculate the electric flux linking this surface. What is a unit vector perpendicular to this? I think you should define the unit vector first, perpendicular to this plane. Then the angle between E bar and N cap, you'll get the required answer. So first what is the area of this one? L square. OABC is a square. Find the electric flux through a surface bounded by points OA, BC. Now, if this lies in XZ plane, what would happen? The unit vector would have been along y-axis. Am I right? It would have been along y-axis. If this plane were lying in XZ plane, the unit vector would have been along y-axis. So since this plane rotates to an angle 30 degrees, the unit vector also will rotate. So what is the angle made by the unit vector? Should be this one. So how much it should be equal to? N cap should be equal to 30 degrees. Okay, now we'll define the S bar is equal to. What is the magnitude? L square. N cap unit vector has to be determined. Okay, everyone knows how to find out the unit vector. The magnitude should be 1 and it should indicate the direction. So altogether, I want S bar. What is S bar? S into n cap. This will be L square into n cap. Cos 30, what is the unit vector? Shall we write like this? Cos minus sin 30 I cap plus cos 30 j cap. Magnitude should be equal to 1, no? Unit vector, how much will come? Unit vector making an angle 30 degrees. This will be 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2. Anybody value? How much denominator I should write?
Sir, no need to write.
No need to
It
write.
is
No?
unit vector.
Yeah, it's a unit vector, no? I'll do one thing. One more step, I'll write it. Yeah. What is the magnitude? Magnitude will come 1, no? Yeah, fine. Okay, this is the thing. So what is S bar, no? S bar is what we have defined it. L square, this will become 2 square minus I cap by 2 plus root 3 by 2 j cap. So this will become minus 2 I cap plus 2 root 3 or 4 or yeah, 2 root 3 j cap. Now let me calculate the flux. E bar dot S bar. E bar is 2 I cap plus 3 j cap dot I dot I 1 minus 4. I dot j will be 0. J dot I will be 0. J dot j will be 6 root 3. Root 3 1.7. 6 into 1.7. 3.4, 3.4, 11.2 will be 7.2 volt meter. This is the flux linking the surface. Okay, like this, you may get some three-dimensional one. So what I suggest is like a better go for the basic formulas. Yeah.
Sir, 6 root 3 is 10.38, sir.
6 into root 3, 10.38. I'll check
Yes,
with
sir.
calculator. Root 3 1.7, no? 6 into 1.73. 10.38 will come. 10.38 minus of 4. 6.38. Okay, this will be the electric flux linking the surface. I'll shade that surface so that it will. You may get, I think if you check the advanced paper, there is a question of these kind of, where some surface lying in some space. He has given coordinates of that, and with the help of that, you are supposed to first define the area vector. Once you define area vector, the other things you can manage. Please do think on problems, not only just simple lying in any plane. It is lying in a space you can see from here clearly. Okay, let's take the another one. Okay, this is a surface where the electric field strength is radially out. It's like a along the axis. Then it is varying radially. The magnitude increases radially. So what is the electric flux through this one? Find the electric flux through the circular disc of radius A. Okay, what is the elemental structure? I think I'll go for a ring of radius R and width dr. Width of this ring, let it be dr. So then flux linking that elemental one, d phi is equal to E into dA. So what is E? E naught R. What is dA? 2 pi R dr. So which is equal to 2 pi E naught R square dr. R square dr. Now what should be the radius? 0 to A. So this will become 2 pi E naught A cube by 3. Okay, this much of flux will link that circular surface. So field can be of variation of anything. So it what elemental structure you should assume, it all depends upon the variation of the field. Earlier we took elemental structure as circular, like a rectangular strip. Now here circular strip. Flux linking the circular strip first. Flux linking the total circular disk of radius A. This one. So what type of elemental structure, elemental surface you should assume in a non-uniform electric field will determine the variation of the field. So can you assume a strip here? You can assume, but very lengthy mathematics. This will be much easier approach. Okay, let's take the another condition. This is very, you can say, with the help of Gauss law, no, things will be very easy for us to get into the electrostatic field due to conductors, charged conductors. The main purpose, our main purpose is what, like how to find out electrostatic field due to a charged conductor. There what happened, we are taking help of the Gauss law. See, till now what all we know electrostatics, can we find out electrostatic field due to a charged plate, conducting plate? No, not possible. So we don't have anything about the conductors. Through Gauss law, it will become very easy. Okay, let me go for now a cylinder. I'll bring a cylinder. And there's a uniform electric field. In that uniform electric field, I'm going to immerse a cylinder, a solid cylinder of length L and radius 2r. Then let me ask, what about the flux through the cylinder to various parts, net flux? Okay, are you seeing now? So we all together, we do have, I have to shade one more, no? Which color? Pink color. Will take it. Now, are you seeing this? So altogether, 3 surfaces are there, no? Let's get into the thing now. This is a E bar. What is the length of the cylinder? Let it be L, and the radius of cylinder be R. Length of cylinder, R is radius of cylinder. Now, how many surfaces we do come across? So one surface is this one, surface 2, and this is a curved surface. Now, what is the flux through each surfaces here? So first we'll calculate flux at 1. How the n cap? I should define the n cap here. How the n cap? So n cap for this, it will be in this direction. It's a closed cylinder. The n cap for this will be like this, and the n cap for surface 3 will be in this direction. So what it is? Closed cylinders. Now first we'll get into the flux at flux linking the one should be equal to E into E bar dot S1 bar. E S1 cos 180 degrees. E, what is S1? Pi R square. So what is the flux? Minus E pi R square. What is the area of cross section of this cylinder? Pi R square, because R is the radius, capital R, I'll write it. Yeah. Similarly, flux linking the second one, E bar dot S2 bar. How is n cap? N cap is in the action of E bar. So what is the angle between them? Cos 0 degrees. So they should be equal to minus E or plus E pi R square. E bar dot S3 bar. So they should be equal to E into what is the area? 2 pi RL cos 90 degrees. So this should be equal to 0. So what is the flux linking this lateral surface? Shall we call this a lateral surface? This called like a lateral surface. This called like a plane surface, or you can say like a cross section of cylinder. So what is the flux through this lateral surface? Will be 0. Any reason for that? Because E bar everywhere is perpendicular to n cap. Now what is the net flux linking the cylinder? Phi 1, phi 2, phi 3. So this should be equal to minus E pi R square, E pi R square plus 0. Altogether resultant will be 0. So when you immerse a structure in a uniform electric field, this is what happens here. If the field is non-uniform, E equal to E naught X, so the lines of force will be in the direction, then the net flux linking through the cylinder will be non-zero definitely. So same cylinder, let me bring. I can draw easily another diagrams. Okay, now let me bring another type of field. Now, what do you say about net flux? Should be non-zero in this case. Earlier net flux was 0. it all depends upon the type of field in which we are immersing. Why in this case? So what about the flux by 1 non-zero, flux by 2 non-zero, flux by 3 also non-zero? Can we calculate that, as we need some information? If you have a few more information, if they give better regarding the direction of the field, the magnitude of it varies, no, we can find out mathematically. But diagrammatically, I can just say that the net flux will be non-zero. No. So first I'm just focusing you to learn the flux. Again, what is the flux? Once again, what is the flux? Nothing but the lines of force. So how many lines of force are passing through? Net lines. How many lines of force are entering? 1, 2, 3. Those many are leaving. Able to understand? No. How many lines of force are entering? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many are leaving? 1, 2, 3. Number of lines of force entering equal to number of lines of force leaving. Then net flux through a surface or through a structure or through a body, we say 0. What about here? The number of lines of force, definitely what I can say that, in fact, it will be here non-zero. So rather than saying that how many lines entered, how many left, the difference of that, I'll just say that I'll calculate flux. If it is non-zero, so what does it mean? The number of lines of force entering is greater than those are leaving. So like this, what happened? The better picture of lines of force we can express with the help of a flux concept. Any doubts you can clarify? Okay, no, any doubt you can raise it. Huh? Okay, let's take the there's a positive point charge. Very good idea. I'm trying to express here. Luckily, we have colors. No, it's a little bit easy for me to explain. Let me assume some lines of force like this. There's a point charge. Okay, now what I do is like I'm going to bring a Gaussian some surface here. I'm going to bring a Gaussian surface. First, come for this. So there's a Gaussian surface. So where surface, it's like a spherical shell. So what it is, Gaussian surface, I'll call it as a shell. Spherical surface or a shell, is it okay? Gaussian surface. So I'll kept exactly, and where the point charge is at the center of spherical surface. Now I'm asking you, how many lines of force? Some student may say 100, some student may say 1000, and so just like better to, instead of asking how many lines of force, better you ask how many, what is the electric flux? What is the flux through the surface? So definitely what I can say that the flux through a surface will be equal to how much? It should be equal to, this is a point P. What is the flux through the surface? That should be equal to charge. Let me take the charge Q. So how much of electric flux through the surface? So Q by epsilon naught. What is the flux through spherical surface? Q by epsilon, charge enclosed by epsilon naught. That's what the Gauss law is telling. So nothing but this will tell us the number of lines of force. So I need not to count what is the electric flux through the surface, charge enclosed by the epsilon naught. So how you should interpret electric flux through the spherical. What is the electric field strength at point P? We know the electric field strength at point P. What is the thing? So it will be radial outward. Can we say about electric field strength? So let R be the radius of this circle. What is the radius of this? Let it be R. So what is the electric field strength due to point charge? KQ by R square. Will I agree? Just do make notice. Okay, let's come for this one. Now I have another situation. What I did is like the charge is not at center. Are you noticing the charge is not at center? It is just shifted away from the center. The point P is, I'm not going to disturb the same point P as it is. One arrow is missing. I'll introduce that arrow. Yeah. Now you can see this one. Tell me, like, what is the, again, the same spherical surface? What is this? The same spherical surface it is. What is the flux through the spherical surface? How many lines of force were earlier passing? The same number of lines of force will pass through this surface. So what is the flux? Will remain same. No change in the flux. But look at the point charge. Earlier point charge was at center of now what about point charge? Point charge not at center of spherical surface. No. What about the electric flux? Still it is Q by epsilon naught only, irrespective whether the charge is present at the center or not at center. What about electric field strength? Anybody wants to answer? Electric field strength, will it increase or decrease? EP dash should be equal to KQ by X square. X will be less than R. So therefore, EP dash will be greater than EP. So what happened to the field strength at point P on the surface will increase, but what happened to net flux through the surface will remain same. Net, I'll use word. Able to understand now? So now what is telling? So what is electric? What is the flux through a surface? It depends upon the net charge enclosed by it. Where the charge is present, irrespective of it. What is the meaning of this? How many lines of force? So you count it. How many lines of force that were passing through the surface? The same number of lines of force are passing. So I need not to change. So the flux will remain same. Getting the idea? Now, so what? It is a small q, no? Small charge. Next, what I do is instead of point charge, sir, shall I keep any other charged body? Still, will you justify your answer? Yes, it will be. Anybody wants to ask it out? You can clarify it. And the same one more condition, I'll bring it. I'll keep that surface somewhere here. Now, where is the Gauss? This later we'll call it as a Gaussian surface. Let me write now only. Some imaginary surface. Now, what is the electric flux through it? Please do answer. You should answer no. Spherical surface or Gaussian surface? Both are same. No. I'll bring both the diagrams so that it'll be easy for you. Yeah. I think you are able to see the complete. Okay, compare this and answer it now. Let me have water. Anybody, can you answer? In third case, flux. No, third case, flux is 0. Okay, Maya. Will be 0, no? How many lines of force are entering? Those many are living. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These lines they're entering and living. What is the net flux? Will be 0. So now what we can write? Getting some picture. How many lines of force are entering? Those many are living. So definitely the net flux. So now I'll change the surface from like a Gaussian spherical surface to any arbitrary shape. Then also, irrespective of that, how many lines of force are entering? Those many are living. I think you can look at here, this part. Here the lines of force is entering and living. I'll magnify it. I'll come to the only the third diagram. Yeah, let's get into the discussion of this. You can see clearly how many lines of force. One, it is entering and living. Here entering, living. So how many are entering? 5 are entering, 5 are living. So net flux will be 0. Don't think yes, sir, here entering and living. It's this everything. This is surface here. This everything is a surface. So here they're entering, they're living. You should not take in this way. Some are asking, sir, here entering, living. No, this is the surface. Huh? Outer surface is what? The concentration. Look at it, outer surface. All are living. So don't think that, sir, entering and living. Flux through a surface means how many lines of force are coming through the outer surface. There is a meaning of here. Getting you look at this outer surface here. Here entering. Here it is living. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But sir, are you sure that, okay, you do one thing, calculate E bar and S bar, E bar, S bar. You have to go for integration, calculate E bar dot ds bar, work out, no, the net flux will be 0. From Gauss law is telling simple, the net charge enclosed by this is 0, flux is 0. Any reason for that? Because is there any charge enclosed by Gaussian surface? No, charge is lying outside, no. So what is the flux? Flux will be 0. You bring one more point charge, not only this. Now, what about the field strength at point P? Non-zero, no? The field strength due to this point charge, whether you imagine this Gaussian surface or not, the field strength will be there. So what is this Gaussian surface? What we brought? It's an imaginary surface which we have brought to understand the electrostatic field. Getting the idea? This is not like a physical entity. This Gaussian surface is not like a physical entity which is present. Whether you assume this or not, what is the field strength at point P? KQ by R square. But what is the flux through this will be 0. Okay, now you bring this point charge inside as the field strength will change. The flux will be non-zero. Let's take another one. So I have a, let me take the thin Gaussian surface. There are 3 point charges, Q1 minus Q2, Q3 plus Q4. What is this? This, let me call it as a Gaussian surface. No, flux due to, I'm going to ask you very generalized questions. Net flux to the Gaussian surface. Net flux will be there only due to Q1, Q2. Because again, what all you draw the lines of force due to all the system of charges, only due to these two, what happen? The net flux will be there. So the net flux is given by Q1 minus Q2 by epsilon naught. Now, what about the field strength at point P? Who will contribute field strength at point P? Field strength at point P. Due to all EPs due to all point charges. The field strength at point P is due to all the surfaces. And now there's a net flux. Net flux is only due to enclosed charges. So I'll write the statements. Then later on I'll write it. This is the one thing. Field strength at point P is due to all charges. I'll write description. There's this question asked in advance because he just wanted to give the a very basic picture about the flux one. So first, electric field at point P is due to all charges. Okay, fine. Next again, flux through the surface is non-zero due to all charges. Net flux is due to only Q1 and minus Q2. And how much it is equal to? Q1 minus Q2 by epsilon. Now, what do you mean by this? So it's really, the second sentence is very dangerous. Sir. You can look at once. He's saying flux due to all point charges, non-zero. So there'll be lines of force due to this. There'll be lines of force due to this. There'll be lines of force. So what I suggest is that draw a lines of force. So I think you know how to draw the lines of force. So for these 3 point charges, draw the lines of force. After that, you have a Gaussian surface. Then how many lines of force due to Q4 are entering? Those many will leave due to Q4. How many lines of force are entering due to minus Q3? Those many will leave. Fine. But due to Q1, only it will be entering. Due to Q2, only it will be leaving. Due to Q1, only it will leave the surface. Due to Q2, it will enter. The resultant of this will be the net flux. So flux due to all the charges through the surface will be non-zero. So this Gaussian surface is what? An imaginary surface what you have drawn. And net flux is what? Only due to enclosed charges. What is the enclosed charge? Q1 and Q2. So Q2 is negative, Q1 is positive. So Q1 minus Q2 is what? The net flux. So who will contribute the net flux? The net charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface. Now I'll move this Q2. minus Q2 somewhere here. Then also net flux will be this much only. But the field strength at point P will change because the position of point charges will determine. So this shows that the field strength is due to point charges. It is irrespective of position of Gaussian surface. What about the flux? Flux depends upon only the net charge enclosed. Where the point charges are there inside the Gaussian surface, we need not to bother. Getting the idea? This one, if I shift minus Q2 somewhere here, then also the answer will be same. But the field strength at point P will become some other value. Like previously already we have discussed. Now this Q3, I will move like this. This will not change. This will change. The field strength at this point will change. But net flux will be Q1 minus Q2 only. Getting the idea? This one? These are some very good questions that are asked in advance. So a student has to really, the basics of Gauss law, what do you mean by flux, everything has to be understood. Any doubt you can clarify? Any doubts if you have, you can clarify. Because rest all mathematics, only the initial, the theoretical idea, you must understand clearly. Rest all everything is mathematics. The total Gauss law, mathematically you can handle it. What do you mean by other methods? Net charge enclosed is zero, non-zero, finish over. Net charge zero, flux will be zero. Net charge non-zero, net charge enclosed is non-zero, flux is non-zero, over. There's no any other method. There's the only method available. Any other method means you should go for integration. Not possible. Can we integrate? Not possible, no? Let's go for some few more. Let me introduce to the point. Not appearing like a point. Fine. Let me take 3 pods. So I'll keep a point charge exactly at the mouth. He's asking what about the flux through the pot? What is this? This is a pot. No, second situation, just the point charge is moved above the mouth of the pot. Here it is brought inside. So what is the meaning of this? What he actually wanted to ask? Okay, let's draw lines of force. We'll get some idea of what he mean to say. There are some okay, count it like there are 6 lines of force. One, two, three. Okay, so some 7 lines of force are there. 7 lines of force are passing through the pot. Okay, the third situation. I think I can bring the same diagram. No, this will be little bit. properly, let me draw it. No, I think I'll take help of this diagram. First case, how much of flux through the pot? What is the question? Find the flux through the pot. First case, second case. So the first diagram. Second, third. How much of flux to the first diagram? Okay, now how many lines of force it is say it is emitting. So there are how many other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many are below or passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? This one. So shall we say that half of the lines of force will pass through it? Don't consider this one. It is exactly the mouth. No, you need to bother here. So how many lines of force that are passing through outside the pot? Those many are passing through the pot. So shall we say flux in the first case will be half of it. Half of the lines of force are passing through the pot. In the second situation, what I do is like, I think I can able to explain very neatly in the diagram. Now earlier it was here, no? Now I'm going to shift this point charge. I'll bring again. Once again, I'll bring it. Oh, no. Those lines also coming, no? What to do now? I'll redraw it. I'll redraw it. This line should not come. This is a pot. There's a best problem. What I'm complete line is needed, no? Not appearing like it. Oh, I'm unable to draw the shape. It doesn't matter, sir. Some rough diagram also it will be okay. Yeah, fine. I can have diagram now. I can shift that so you can see things very clearly. Let me move the entire setup to the next one. So there's the best way of learning this idea of flux. I have them ray diagram, also the colors also there. All of you see it clearly. Now let me bring the pot. Yeah. There's a second case, there's a third case, there's a pot, there's a pot. Now what I do is like I'm going to no. If it is exactly the mouth, again, how much flux will be? How many lines of force? 7 lines of force will pass. If I just move above, how many lines of force? I think less than, no? Are you able to notice? Some around 3 only. If I keep exactly the mouth, so how many will be? 7. If I move above, lines of force passing through it will become less than 7. So what happened to flux? Flux will decrease. Getting the idea? This one. So now what is the flux in the second case? Flux in the second case will be less than Q by 2 epsilon naught. Now let me bring the so here now I introduced into that this one. I shifted it into the pot. Now what is the flux in this case? Should be greater than Q by 2 epsilon naught. Able to understand? So here I'll take this diagram. If I keep exactly the mouth, 7 lines of force are passing through the pot, surface of the pot. If I just move above, number of lines of force will decrease, so flux will decrease. If I move the point charge into the pot, the number of lines of force passing through it will increase, no? So the flux should be greater than half of it. Now, these are some logical, just to make students to think about the flux. Flux means nothing but it will give us a general idea about the lines of force. Got the method? Means how many lines of force I should draw? It's left to you. You can pick up any number of lines of force, but the idea will be same, no? I think now a student draws whether 100 lines or 1000 lines. It doesn't matter. Your answer will be unique. What is the flux? Q by 2 epsilon naught. Another student, instead of 100 lines, another student will draw 1000 lines. Then also what it says, number of flux through the pot will be Q by 2 epsilon naught. So irrespective of number of lines of force, what a student assume for a point charge Q, your answer will be unique. What is the flux through the pot will be Q by 2 epsilon naught. So what finally we did, the number of lines of force, I need not to bother now. I can be independent. I need not to make any rule. How many lines of force I should draw. Getting the idea? There's the advantage of this expressing the flux here. Now what is find the flux through the pot is asking. Any doubt you can, if you want, you can clarify. Because there's a very fundamental one. There's a very, very fundamental one. Let me go for the next, the situation. So I'll take a cube of side length L. I'll keep point charge exactly at the center. Point charge. Now, what is the next situation? At the one of the corner of a cube. Okay, the point charge, I'm going to keep it here. So let me give the number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let me ask you to calculate the flux through these surfaces. 5, 6, 7, 8. So first case, point charge at the center of the cube. Now how much of flux, net flux through the cube and flux linking each face? I'll come to this later on. I'll shift it down. So first we'll focus one by one. Okay, look at this diagram. What is the net flux through the cube? Q by epsilon naught, am I right? Because what is the net charge enclosed by the cube? Point charge Q kept at the center. Sir, if it is not at center, then also it will be Q by epsilon naught. Am I right? For simplification, I kept the charge at the center of the cube. Okay, Q by F naught, what we got it. Okay, now after this. What is the flux linking each phase? Shall I say 1/6 of the cube? What do you mean by 1/6? Suppose say there are, let me assume 60 lines of force. In that 10 lines of force will link this phase. Some 10 lines will pass through 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 10 lines will pass through 2, 3, 6, 7. Another 10 lines will pass through 5, 6, 7, 8. Another 10 lines will pass through 1, 4, 5, 8. Another 10 lines will pass through 1, 2, 7, 8. So you imagine like you keep some small LED bulb glowing at the center of the like a cubicle shaped room. Then how much of light will fall on each face? Same amount of light will, the amount of light falling on each face will be same. There's the idea of this flux here. The intensity of light falling on each face will be same, or the amount of light passing through each face will be same. Am I right? At the center of the square, so like this cubicle box, you keep a small LED bulb. Then what amount of light will pass through each face will be same. The same thing here, lines of force. If you assume 60 lines of force, 10 lines will pass through each face. So what is the net flux through the cube? Q by epsilon naught. Suppose say 60 lines are passing through the cube. How much will link each face? 1/6 of that. 10 lines will pass through each face. So what is the flux through each face? Will be Q by 6 epsilon naught. Able to understand? Say what is actually method? You should draw a lines of force. You should draw this in a radial direction. It's a plane diagram. It may appear plane diagram. You have to draw the lines of force in such a way that 10 lines of force will pass through each face. So this will be a better idea rather than drawing lines of force, everything. No, I just say what is the flux through the cube? Q by epsilon naught. Now, what do you mean by positive? The lines of force are emerging from the surface. If I keep a negative charge, then I'll get negative. What do you mean by the negative? The lines of force are going to enter into the surface. So even the flux positive, it will tell us the charge is positive. If the flux is negative, what happens? The lines of force will be directed towards the charge. So like that, what happens? The magnitude, you can say the sign of flux will tell us even the type of charge system present in a cube. This will be very, very logical one. This will be a very logical one. Definitely going to help you a lot. So many good questions can be asked here. Okay, let's come forward. Now I kept a point charge at the corner of a square, that one point charge at one of the corner of a cube. And then you have to calculate the flux linking the each and every face. Now what I suggest is like, you imagine like yourself standing at the one of the corner of a room. If you have a mobile, you can just take your mobile and go and stand at the corner of a room. Then from your body open, you imagine like light rays are coming. You are emitting light. You are emitting some rays, lines of force. With that, can you say that when flux through which phases will be zero, which will be non-zero? Flux through which all phases? So I say that because here, if you draw a lines of force, there'll be few lines. There'll be lines of force which will be tangential to surface 5, 6. Tangential to surface 5, 6, 7, 8. Am I right? Because here you kept a point charge. You draw a lines of force. Definitely the lines of force here will be tangential to surface 5, 6, 7, 8. So therefore, what is the flux through 5, 6, 7, 8? Will be 0. Then similarly, 1, 4, 5, 8. Then what about any other surface? 1, 2, 7, 8 also. Everyone must really think this one, because the lines of force due to a point charge, how they'll be radially outward. So here there'll be some lines of force will be tangential to this safe face 1, 7, 8. I think I can't. I can shade yellow and this one green color. Able to imagine? So if you draw a lines of force, the lines of force will be tangential to 1, 2, 7, 8. The electric field vector. Similarly, for the electric field, it will be tangential to 5, 6, 7, 8. Will be also tangential to 1, 4, 5, 8. So flux will be 0. But what was the question asked? Find the flux through the cube and flux linking each face. How to calculate due to the cube? Now, what I suggest is like, imagine another 8 cubes are there of this kind. And make this point charge as center of all that 8 cubes. I think I can't draw. I can draw only few. Please do try to imagine. Everything cannot be exhibited through the diagram. Not possible. There's a one thing. So then again you should imagine. Like this, I can only show few. Only for the facing one, we have to show it. No, this is another 4 you have to assume here. I think I'm not possible. I'll try. Some thick color, I'll choose it. Not correct. It'll take more time. Let. So can you imagine? So another one cube here below that. See that this point charge will become center of that 8 cubes. Then what was our 1, 2, 3, 4? Our 1, 2, 3, 4 was here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Please, I want you to imagine. So can we do one thing? Can we make this point charge center of such 8 identical cubes? Then what is the flux linking this 8 cubes? Q by epsilon naught, of which 1/8 will link this cube. Able to imagine? Another 4 cubes, I could not draw it. So I think any cubes available in your home, so you can assemble. So the 0.8 will become center of 8 cubes. So what is the idea now? Let 0.8 be center of identical 8 cubes. And now what is the flux through all that 8 cubes? Will be Q by epsilon naught. How much will link each cube? 1/8 of it. Okay, fine. So now flux linking this cube, how much we should write? Q by 8 epsilon naught. Okay, getting the idea why 8? Okay, there's a thing. Next again, after this, what is the flux linking this one? What about the flux linking the side? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 2, 3, 6, 7. Because flux linking 3 phases, other 3 phases are there. Now, what all the flux linking this cube? 1/3 will link each particular thing. The reason for that, you can see that one. This phase, and the other phase will be lying symmetrically with respect to corner 8. So therefore, it should be equal to how much? So this will become Q by 24 epsilon naught. These are very popular problems. Anybody having? I'm unable to paste it. The diagram looks very clumsy. Somebody suggested, okay. I will try. Let's see that. Not possible. You can try if you are at system, if you have a laptop, everything. No, you can try such things. Oh. Can I do it? I think not possible. Somebody suggested copy and paste. Okay, copy and paste I'm doing. Last one. If you draw, okay, the point charge here, it is here. Will become center of 8 cubes. Logical thinking. So don't draw a diagram. I want you to think. You should imagine all these things. Okay, let's take the other condition. Now, if I have a circular disc, let me go for the next again, the solid angle concept. I kept a, and let R be the radius of this one. There's a ring or disk, anything. So here there's a point charge. I want how much of flux linking through this disk. This will be a very useful quantity for us. That this here will bring the idea of solid angle. We are going to introduce an idea of a solid angle. Now, what is a solid angle concept? There's a disc or circular plate, whatever you can call, and there's a point charge is what we have kept it here now. So the flux given by, according to the Gauss law, the flux linking this any surface, the formula is given by Q ohm by 4 pi epsilon naught, where this is called as solid angle. Solid angle subtended by the surface. Let me not go in detail geometrical, just we'll have a formula, we'll learn how to utilize, that's all, finish all. So what do you mean by solid angle? Next question comes like, you can see here, like here, this particular point charge will subtend some angle, no? I'm going to measure that. It's a three-dimensional angle, better you can call that one. What is solid angle? It's a three-dimensional angle. This particular angle, what I'm going to measure is called a solid angle. So how to find out that one? How to find out that one? So that is given by the formula 2 pi 1 minus cos theta. What is theta? Theta is this particular thing. I think you can calculate cos theta. What is cos theta? X by root of r square plus x square. So in brief, what is solid angle? It's a three-dimensional angle. Theta is what? The plane angle, we say like a radians, we'll mention radian. What is solid angle? Unit for that will be steradian. Okay, let's not go in detail because we need a lot of time, and whenever we are not going to learn, and for different types of surfaces, the formula will change. This is for circular disc. When the surface is a disc, surface is what? Circular surface here. Then there's a formula. For a square, one more formula. Rectangle, another formula. For rhombus, again different formula. For and triangular plate, again different formula. Like that, the different types of surfaces, the solid angle formula will become different. There's a just if you look at the advance also, till now we don't have anything on solid angle, but in SU Verma and most of the books they have discussed. So let's have a discussion on it. A formula based discussion. Let's have it. So how to calculate the flux linking the circular disc? For that, if you know solid angle, it'll be much easier. Q f this solid angle by 4 pi epsilon naught. So like this one. What do you mean by this? If you rearrange, actually it will come like this. Q by epsilon naught. This is actually the correct form. Now, if you imagine this point charge present in a solid sphere, what is the flux linking this? You are going to write Q by epsilon naught. Then what is the solid angle for this? Will become 4 pi. So what is the solid angle for a like a sphere? It will be like a for spherical surface. It will be 4 pi. Getting the idea? So some through comparisons we'll try to learn. Actually, we should go for a separate geometry is there. That one we're not going to focus on that particular geometry, not part of syllabus. So therefore, I'm just through formulas, I'm trying to explain the basic idea.
Sir, how to calculate the solid angle, sir?
How to?
Calculate the solid angle, sir.
How to calculate solid angle, you don't know. Just a formula is given and you have to apply it.
Okay.
It's a three-dimensional angle that is measured for this one. So what is the angle subtended by this surface means you are going to measure this one. This is called like a solid angle.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma? So this is it's having wide importance when we go for the 3D objects. Solid angle, sir, what is solid angle? I'm unable to measure. That's what I'm saying, that one as we go for different surfaces, no, you'll get a picture. I'm just taking circular disc and solid sphere. So this is a solid sphere now. So like this is a spherical surface. What is the solid angle of it will be 4 pi. So what is the method, sir? What actually you mean to say? What we have to do is like, first you assume a cone. Fine. The elemental surface, say ds. This small angle you measure it, d(ohm). Like that, can we assume this spherical surface made up of such cones? And add up angle and add up all the angles subtended by the cones at the point at the center. Then how much you get? You'll get equal to 4 pi. Again, assuming cone, again, it's a 3D diagram, very difficult here. Like that, not only it's a plane diagram. Don't assume that's like a 10, 15. You should assume radial direction cones. All such cones, what happen when you join, when you, all the apex of cones should be at the center of the sphere. So then what happen? All the base of the cones, they'll make a surface of a solid sphere. Angle subtended by one elemental cone, that will be d(ohm). When you add up all such angles, it will become equal to 4 pi. This is actually the meaning. Now you can see this.
But DM is also a spherical angle, sir.
So it's also 3-dimensional. So don't bother about that one. Got this? So no, the solid angle subtended by the disk. So definitely it should be off of it. It should be less than 4 pi. We'll agree. So you draw a sphere. So what is the angle subtended by the sphere at the center is 4 pi. What is the angle subtended by this circular disk, which is a part of it, should be less than 4 pi. It is given by this particular formula. So what is the solid angle? How to calculate? 2 pi by half cone angle. What is the theta? Theta, we'll call it as half cone angle. How to calculate theta? We have directly a formula. At what distance I am. So as I move away, you can see, I'll justify my answer. As I move away, what will be the value of theta? Decreases. As x increases, theta decreases. As theta decreases, cos will increase, then solid angle will decrease. Am I right? Justified. So as you move this point charge near to it, x will decrease, theta will increase, cos theta will decrease, solid angle will increase. So now how much of flux through this particular circular plate or circular disc given by this particular formula? Substitute here. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 pi 1 minus cos theta. 2 pi get cancelled. So Q by 2 pi epsilon naught 1 minus cos theta is x by. So as you vary x, yes, definitely the flux linking this circular disc is going to change.
Sir,
Ah.
can you repeat the formula you said for half solid angle, sir?
There's a formula 1 minus cos theta.
No, so you said something related to half angle, na, sir. Some you said some formula in half
Cos
angle.
theta, cos theta. Theta is like a half cone angle. No, what is theta? Half cone angle. Are you seeing some cone?
Yes.
It is called as a half cone angle. Theta is called as a cone. No, I think you know cone.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Got it.
2
Thank
theta
you.
is a 2 theta is a like a cone angle. We say half cone angle. This is called like a cone angle. No, this is half cone angle is what? Theta.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Just simple, some terminology. I'm just directly through formula. What happened? Better to learn because we can't go to solid angle thing that one. This is for circular thing. What about sir, like a for rectangular plate? Definitely. So for rectangular plate, let me I have to draw a rectangular plate. Yeah. Rectangular plate, by changing that, it will become also the square. We'll make it a generalized. Let it be for rectangular plate first. This will be the length. This will be breadth. So from the center, a point charge Q is kept. All these things. So if you look at the books, there no discussion, but still the questions can be asked even in mains also. You have to be careful. So we can't say like, sorry, no way discussion there inside a book. So how come? But even in mains also they may ask you. Forget about advanced. Even mains also they may ask you. What is the solid angle? Again, first, what is the solid angle given by 4 sine inverse of LB root of L square 4D square So then what is the flux? Again, flux linking the plate. A solid angle subtended by the plate at point charge. Now try to imagine what is a solid angle, how you measure, totally different, no? Here. Getting this, so I don't want to further mess up things. So let me at least show that. What do you mean by that solid angle? So here it is what we are going to measure it like this. That solid angle subtended by the plate at the location of point charge. So how we should interpret solid angle so from the Gauss law, if you know solid angle, yes, you know what is the point charge, you kept it. So substitute that value of solid angle, you'll get that one. If it's a square plate, then L will become equal to B. With a square plate, L will become equal to B. Like this triangular plate, very lengthy formula is there. Any other in the revision time, we can see that. No, may not be needed. Okay, for different, again, triangular plate, some very lengthy formula it is there. So like that, for different types of surfaces, we have solid angle. For spherical surface, it will be 4 pi. Then for circular plate, you have seen circular surface. Then it's a rectangular plate, square plate, triangular plate. Triangular plate, again, you can't select a sir off of it. No, we have some different formula is there. What is the flux linking this particular plate? This is the formula. What is the use of this? Can I keep point charge on one of the face of the cube? I'll ask you what is the flux linking this one. So let's take that. I think another 5 minutes is there. We can, yeah. If I have a cube, let's draw a cube. Where is the point charge? Point charge is at center of this face. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A point charge kept at center of face 1, 2, 3, 4. Find the flux linking the cube and flux linking each face. Okay, no. I think there's no other way, no. We have to go for what? The above formula. Just now, without that formula, not possible. Nobody can solve. How to calculate, so like, what is the total flux linking the cube? How much it will be? At least can you? Anybody flux linking the cube? I won't answer. 2 pi epsilon naught. Okay, 2q epsilon naught. Okay, good. Flux linking the cube will be, our answer will be flux linking the cube will be q by 2 epsilon. So what you should imagine is like half of the lines of force will pass through the cube. Remaining half of lines will not flow out of the cube, will not pass through the cube. So q by 2 epsilon. Of these many lines, so what is the flux passing through 1, 2, 3, 4? Will be 0. Why should be 0? Because lines of force will be tangential to this face. Then how this point charge will be symmetrically with respect to 3, 4, 8, 7, 3, 2, 6, 7. Okay, for 4 faces, it will be same now, the flux linking 3, 4, 8, 7, 2, 3, 7, 6, 1, 4, 8, 5. How many other? One more is needed, which is one more. 1, 2, 6, 5. 1, 2, 6, 5. It should be same, because the point charge will be located symmetrically with respect to these 4 faces. Then, so what we have to write? So this you call, say, some phi dash. Then what is the total flux linking the cube? Should be equal to phi dash plus flux linking 5, 6, 7, 8. Flux linking the cube, we know, q by 2 epsilon naught. Flux linking 5, 6, 7, 8, I think we have to use the formula, what I gave. With that, what you'll come to know what is the flux linking the other 4 faces. Why other 4 faces should be equal? Because the point charge, how many lines of force will pass through the surface 3, 4, 8, 7, 2, 3, 7, 6 will be equal. The number of lines of force passing through these faces will be equal. This we can calculate by the formula. This we cannot calculate by formula, but since we know for the cube, no, we'll get the answer. So what is the formula for 5, 6, 7, 8? It will be 4 sine inverse of this cube of side length will be L. The formula what we have is L square plus 4D square. What is the distance will be? Again, it will be L square plus 4D square, L by L equal to B, and the D also what will happen? The distance at which kept, it is also equal to L solving this for sine inverse of L square. This will be root phi L square, root phi L square. L square will get cancelled 1 by 5. There's only solid angle, sorry. Now, what is the flux 5, 6, 7, 8? Now substitute that, you'll get the flux. So this, let me substitute all. So getting now, so these are some ways of testing students. So this should become Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 4 sine inverse of 1 by 5. For 4 pi dash is needed, no? 4 faces will come. Eight. This 4 will get eliminated, no? Yeah. Possibility of asking questions of these level also, you have to better remember formula. Not only this, now point charge kept wherever in the cube to some extent. With this formula you can manage. Okay, few more are there. Okay, tomorrow we can discuss them. Okay, we'll end up the class here. Okay, try to work out some all these logical questions which are available in most of the books. Only flux due to charge enclosed. Okay, such numericals try to work out. Okay, thank you all of you. So we'll end up the class. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow. I think tomorrow morning we'll having timing, not to afternoon. Tomorrow morning we're going to continue the class from here. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, sir.